Hi, welcome to Inside O-Town. My name is Greg Norman, and that was the sounds of Doris Williams, who was playing the lute a couple of days before Thanksgiving. And
Yes.
I think we were a little shocked at the voice because it was such a good voice.
Have
but
to
it was
say that.
well, it was a phenomenal voice. And
Thank you.
You are. Let me be real specific about this. Doris is the
Singing angel
singing angel,
of Ortonville or any other town
and
that I happen to be in.
and you were a professional singer and voice coach. And I guess to start with, maybe talk a little bit about the instrument.
Well, this was an instrument my parents actually bought me for a birthday present while I was at Oakland University studying such instruments and music. So it was during a lute workshop at Oakland University, and they just sprang it on me as a surprise. And one of the teachers at the workshop actually slipped that I was going to get this, so I acted surprised anyways. And here I am, and I loved it. I loved Renaissance music. It spoke to me and to my soul, and so I bought this. And over 10 or 15 years ago, I took it out of the closet, and I haven't been playing it since then.
And we're going to talk a lot about you in a couple seconds, but I guess I'm curious about the neck.
I'm not sure at all about the technical
Okay.
thing of it, but it's from the oud, which is kind of the same kind of thing. A lot of late Asian instruments like this, like the Far Asia, Syria, China, India, all those others had kind of bent necks for some reason.
And there's no sound, there's no hole. Well, there's a hole.
There is a nice hole,
not,
yeah.
Not the kind of hole you'd see in the guitar.
Right.
But it has really cool
It's a
sound.
Persian, Celtic, probably Persian influence, I imagine, middies.
Much easier to carry on sides
Yes,
of the guitar,
that's
right?
why I like to carry around like this.
Now, I'm assuming you participate in the Renaissance Festival?
I do that.
It would be a perfect
Yes.
sort of fit for the process. Well, I guess we should start from the beginning. I know you talked earlier a little bit about stuff. You were from Clarkston, kind of grew up in Flint. You're a vocal coach. Where did the music all kind of get going? Where did it start from the beginning?
From the womb. From the womb. My mother probably sang to me quite a lot. My dad played piano all the time, so music was like osmosis. It just absorbed it when I came. And,
So it's a life's calling.
It's a life's calling. My mother, I wrote a song about this. My mother wanting me to do, I wrote a song about my parents, wanting me to do music and stuff like that. So yeah, and then from then on, I just went into music because I love that the most. I love that or nature, and I did not have a scientific bent for things. I couldn't remember anything, so I thought I'll just go to music.
You're a left brain person.
Yes.
I can appreciate that.
Yeah.
I get that more than most.
Right.
When did you start singing professionally?
Well, when I went to Stanford University, I started getting the degree. I got the master's, and then I went into a small chamber choir, semi-professional choir, and started doing that, and then teaching as well. And then since then, I kind of went little chamber choirs, and then concerts. I did a little bit of teaching, but then after a while, I started doing concerts.
How does one go from northern Oakland, Genesee County to
I got accepted at Stanford.
be a cardinal, obviously, at Stanford?
I got accepted in the doctorate degree at Stanford.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is a real serious music career.
Yes.
Versus, and I don't mean to, you obviously have been classically trained.
Yes.
And that, now you spent a lot of time in California, you mentioned. You said you lived out there for 30 years.
Yes.
What got you back?
I met Jim, and at the time I was coming back to see my dad a lot, who was in a nursing home in Waterford. And I met Jim. I needed a connection here of some sort, just in case I wanted to stay and be with my dad. And so then I met Jim. And then
We should mention this handsome guy off stage here is your...
my partner.
Your
Yeah,
partner?
I live in his house in Ortonville.
Okay. Well, I guess from the beginning, let's start from the singing angel. Where did that all come from?
It's something that people have told me from various little, like singing in church. You know, I love singing in church. So people tell me this, and I just kind of put it on my little CD, my Renaissance CD, Singing Angel, and it just kind of fit, you know, because my angelic quality of the voice, lyrical soprano voice.
Does this instrument limit your range of the kind of music you can play?
No, not at all. And if you saw my 20s.
So there's a wide range, like any other process. I noticed that this is an 8-string instrument in the sense that you've got a 6-string guitar, but I see a single outside string.
It was very typical of the lutes, yes.
And that's just because of range.
It's a melody. You can play melodies on it. It's a little easier to play melodies and ornament a lot.
Do you play guitar? Do you play guitar as well?
No. I started with piano, which was actually much easier that way because then I'd had no adjustment from guitar. The right hand is a lot different.
So did you teach for a long time?
Yeah.
And you still are teaching?
Yeah, a little bit. Right now I'm in a hiatus for teaching. I'm just trying to explore places for me to perform and find a partner to perform with. I have partners in California, so I go back there a lot, doing things.
I had mentioned before we sat down to talk about influences, and you mentioned your parents and God. What musical influences do you have?
My dad, really my dad and my mom. My dad played piano all day long, and so the richness and the of classical music, more than any other music, prepares you to do anything else in a much more broad way. You can transpose, you can understand styles and genres and things like that. With the voice, it's just, I had a voice teacher in Pontiac when I was 14. Philip Mooney. I even wrote a song about him. When I was just 14, my mother said to me, "You have such a fine voice, my dear, take voice lessons." And that began a journey to last all my life. Lessons I learned, I went to my own precious student. Philip Mooney was his name, with a tenor voice so sweet, so marvelous, oh yes, to me. He taught me many art songs of Handel, Debussy, and Schubert, and Mozart as well. But all things come to an end, they say. I had to take from another teacher in college, a soprano, so different from Philip. I wasn't sure I could do the change, but I called him up and I said, "I want you back, I miss you so." That he encouraged me to go on. Last December he got a hold of me. It'd been 30 years at least since I saw him last. Of course, he found me on Facebook. We exchanged our CDs. He wrote the most beautiful music from Ireland of his own. He played bouzouki, harp, and guitar, and his voice, of course, all beautiful. And I gave him my most beautiful music of all, what I could think of from the spirit. I fell in love with the man again. I'd forgotten how much he taught me. Not just about music, but being a very kind man.
Chapin would be very proud.
Oh,
Although I got to tell you, Mark Knopfler's referenced MTV in a song. I've never heard Facebook reference any
I know.
recent pop songs.
Sometimes I like to put a little bit of humor in songs. So.
The question when you were playing, the question all I could think about watching your face was, what do you love about music? I know that's a sort of a broad question, but
Without it, I'd be dead.
makes your heart better.
It makes my health feel better, and when I'm having these illnesses or whatever, this chronic thing, I start singing, my lungs expand. When my lungs expand, it makes me feel better. And I think the spirit, if you keep your spirit alive, you avoid, in my mind, maybe I'm wrong, I might avoid certain things, diseases, whatever might happen to you. I don't know.
Okay.
That's what I feel. My spirit is alive, and my emotions are sometimes too much on the sleeve, and I have to really back off because I'm an empath. So empaths are just kind of hard to. But the music just, when you're in a choir especially, you just feel everyone's energy. You're doing something together. I think it must be maybe the only thing that you do in common with somebody is music.
Well, that was my reference there.
It's a bridge.
That was my reference there at Chapin. It was a story song that you obviously had.
I love his story about the opera singer.
Yes, and he never sang again except to himself.
Wonderful.
I could tell you Harry Chapin story for a long time. We're going to check out some new instruments and have a little more conversation with Doris after the break. We'll be back in a second.
Ocean.
Hello, I'm Lisa Brown, Oakland County Clerk, Register of Deeds. You know to check your credit report, but when's the last time you checked the title to your property? Most likely your home is your biggest financial investment, and deed fraud is on the rise across the whole country. Oakland County is no exception. That's why I worked with Xerox and Google to create our Property Records Notification System. Property Records Notification alerts property owners about potentially fraudulent activity, such as forged deeds and bogus liens. This free service, which is the first of its kind in the United States, makes it possible to receive up-to-date information about a property, making it much more difficult for fraudsters to go undetected. To sign up for our free notification system, please visit ocmideeds.com.
Harp through it playing, whispers laden, the leaves rustle o'er me. The ash grove again is my home.
A completely different sound, to say the least. Now we're obviously looking at a traditional harp.
It's a Renaissance harp.
And how is what is that? What is that?
Because it's smaller and it actually has strings that are a little thinner than your usual, like the Celtic harp I have has a thicker strings. And the strings have more of a tendency to resonant. Well, at least this instrument. And also, you're supposed to have, it's supposed to be originally gut strings is what that thing, the lute had and this had gut strings. But every time I put a gut string on this, the gut wouldn't last. So I've got just these nylon gut.
If you get close, you can see the colors. There's red, there's white, there's
right,
black.
that's just mean it's F, C.
So it separates the chords. So
see the C.
So there's no fret bar to be able to see. You know where.
Yeah, that's very typical of most harps in order to see the names of the notes. But I had to replace the gut strings with these, which are much better, so that there's a little bit of mixture in that. So, anyways, the real reason for this Renaissance sound is it's a thinner sound, more resonant, so that it'll blend with whatever voice or instrument goes along with it.
Well, again, if you listen as you're playing,
Right.
you sort of get memories of kind of movies you've watched or gone to the Renaissance Festival. It really does denote.
And this
very
one
specific
is
period.
a borrowed instrument, as I have borrowed instrument. I actually got a gig playing a harp at a concert in Ann Arbor last year, or sometime in the spring. So he doesn't use the instrument, so can I take it and borrow it and use it? So it's on a long term borrow, and so I've got a harp now.
Well, to steal a line from you, it's hard to be a singing angel and not have a harp.
Right.
So.
I figured I needed a harp. When I first got to Michigan, my friend Miriam had a harp that someone gave at Cranbrook, and she teaches at Cranbrook, so I have that one too. But it's not quite as good as this one. This one's handmade.
What do you enjoy more, the lute or the harp? Or
the lute is more practical.
Yeah.
This is great for like occasions, Christmas or whatever. I don't know, occasions like that. So. I wouldn't take it everywhere because I get out of tune a lot easier, but anyways.
One of the storylines in the Big Bang Comedy Theater is that one of the professors on there plays the harp, and it's gained some notoriety because of driving some of the characters crazy, but it's had a resurgence. And I guess my question is, I'm a high school kid or I'm a younger person and I want to play guitar, I want to play piano or play drums. How do you come to harp as a player?
I came to it because I was... only because my friend Miriam had offered it, and I thought, well, I'm an angel, maybe I'll just try it and see. And there was no one else wanting this harp, and I accompanied her class at Cranbrook one time on a harp, and I thought it would be kind of new and different to do. I also brought it to the Renaissance Festival last year and did a little bit of it, but it's not a showy instrument, so it's rather difficult to.
This is a solo instrument versus an ensemble.
It's not as showy. So this is kind of, I could do solo or accompany
Right.
myself.
But I'm saying typically this is a solo instrument more than it would be an accompaniment.
It could both be both, yes. I mean, I just accompanied myself on songs. And
Are there harps in orchestras?
The big ones are, yes.
Okay.
Only the big ones. This one, I did a concert, all early music on it.
Yeah.
So I did a concert. But you can do medieval stuff. There is no such beauty as is the rose that bears his own. By this rose we may well sing that he is God in person sing. For the 14th century.
I feel like I'm
Carol.
at high mass when I was a kid,
That's
and
exact-
Latin mass at church.
That's
From that
exactly,
standpoint.
it's 14th century, yes.
Well, you think medieval, you think somewhat dark. Nobody's gonna ever hear Harp and Ozzy Osbourne or an old
No.
Black Sabbath tune, but I get that part of it. It's obviously is it a hard instrument to play?
No, it's just you have to be well organized, because then if you want a different key, you have to tune it to. So you have to do everything in C first. Then if you want to do G, that's the only tricky thing about it.
Okay.
And then F, okay, I have to tune all the Fs.
If I'm on a piano, I can go down to E flat.
Yeah.
If I want to go up, I can. But this
But you have to
tune.
tune each one, and I don't have levers,
Right.
so that makes it. I have to tune each.
What key do you traditionally sing in, or is it the song you have to sing?
With harps, it's going to be simple keys because I'm not going to do anything else. C, G, and F. Although I did compose a piece in C minor called Ocean Awakenings, so that I have to reach in like 3 pegs to do Ocean Awakening. So I thought, okay.
Obviously, the musicology that we're talking about is
This is more like theory than
right. No, but I mean but that's part of it. So it's not.
Right.
This is not. I guess what I'm trying to get at is this is not. This is a professional cause for you. This isn't.
Yes.
This isn't a part-time gig that you're doing because it's fun.
It's
and it shows.
It'd be nice to be full time, but I had to rely on teaching for routine.
Sure.
But now that I'm here, I'm seeking other things like going to nursing homes and things like that. But it's awfully competitive, and it's a lot of work trying to do 24/7 connecting
Sure.
all the time. So that's what I'm doing here. I go sing for people at the hardware and people anywhere else I can. If I'd stayed here, I may have done the village, sing along. 2 years ago, we got hired to sing around the village just to do carols and Christmas in the village. But now I'm gone in California because that's where my friends are to do gigs. I'm doing 2 house concerts. I'm doing a church concert and then doing libraries and church.
Yeah, because
House concerts. I'd love to go to Front Street and I've sent Front Street a few things and I'd love to go sing at that.
it's hard to find a good harp song about hammers in terms of the hardware. So I get that part.
Chris loved my songs. She loved it. She'll have to go.
All right. Well, let's talk. You mentioned that you're playing a variety of venues. Talk a little bit about the Singing Angel, and it's your.
It's my unique
Your
thing. It's my business, and I love to sing for anybody who wants such a thing. But I find it difficult when in Michigan, where it's a different culture, unless they're in the church. It's fine. I know a lot of church people kind of understand that, but around bars and stuff, I'm not sure. Although I did meet one woman in the Bullfrogs who I sang for, and she said she loved it. She loved my music. She bought my CD. And so I thought, okay. And her daughter loves it. But I'm not one to hang around bars because that's just not the culture that I come from.
Okay.
Really.
If somebody wanted to book Doris Williams and the Singing Angel, how do we do that?
You call me or email me. I have my contact info right in my bag
And
there.
we'll put do you have your phone number we can put up on the
Yeah.
screen? And we'll put that up.
650-213-6463.
Okay. And then your website is?
www.doriswilliams.net. And I can play piano also.
Okay.
Played Cole Porter and stuff like that.
Is there anything I'm missing?
Just, I am wanting to try and just connect with people with music if they want to listen to what I have to say. And it's not just, I don't want to stand up there and so look at me, I'm good, all that jazz. I'm not that, I don't like that kind of game, that competition, but I just want to share what I have to say and stories and maybe inspire others to just sing and make music something that can heal you. Can heal you with your whatever instrument or singing or whatever you think.
Well, and I don't think there's too many of us that don't understand the transient power
Right.
of music from that perspective.
And
so.
then also just be an angel to people these days. We really need to communicate in a much better way than that I've been seeing in certain circumstances.
Screaming and yelling?
Yeah.
Kind of a Trumpian way, but that's an whole nother discussion.
Well, no, that's
I know.
so that's my goal, is to try and spread the love and spread the sharing and connection and all that.
Well, as we go out, first of all, we thank you for coming in and having a conversation with us. You are very talented, obviously. And if you want to get a hold of the Singing Angels, stay tuned. At the end of this, we'll have a little bit of information on the back end of the show. Doris, we thank you for
Thank you so much.
bringing
Yeah.
in your lute and bringing in your harp. I haven't heard that in a while. And
Yeah, it's
other
been
than
a while.
we'll
I guess.
catch you guys next time. Thanks.